My mother's bitter friend tried to get her ex deported. Now she wants him back.
I don't think he's gonna take you back.
I'm highly skeptical on him taking you back. Hi, all. So, this crazy story is about a family friend who gets exiled from the country by an unhinged ex-girlfriend who couldn't accept that he doesn't want her anymore. For context, this is an ongoing drama, and it happened in the land of the cold that apparently only rains. Yes, it's the UK. Plus, this is going to be a stupidly long one, so please get your hot tea and some popcorn for this one.
I would love some hot tea.
Got some hot tea and some popcorn?
You know what? I think I'm going to ask Keon to get that.
By the way, this comes from user AmuJane TV. And if you want to submit your stories, go over to the r/OKStorytime subreddit and do it there. So, my mom, 81, and I, 36, have a family friend who we will call Alfie, 50. And he is currently going through a tough time. I was born and raised in London to a Colombian mom. Ooh.
We were just there.
We were just there. And we usually have a bedroom to rent for tenants studying English in London. Back in 2016, we had a tenant named Joanna, 50, who moved into our home a day before my older brother's small, humble wedding ceremony with his lovely wife. Joanna was a sweet, great woman with whom we had wonderful conversations without any problems. She later left to live with a friend of my mom's friend who lived down the road from us and stayed there for a year in 2017. In 2018, I spontaneously decided to buy 2 pet bunnies, a turtle, and 3 chickens. Joanna returned to our home because the place she was staying in was a 1-bedroom flat, an apartment for you Americans, and the owner had returned to London after spending months in Colombia. On top of that, Joanna had to dog sit while the owner was out of the country. In 2019, a lot happened. I left my job of 3 years because I decided to go to university to get my degree in performing arts. Ooh. I did this in secret because my mother was afraid to let me go. LOL, bless her. I also went to see BTS, one of my favorite K-pop idol groups. This is when Joanna introduced us to her friend, Becky, 50, who was struggling to adapt to the London lifestyle. My mom, who is very welcoming, invited Becky over for a lunch on a Sunday afternoon, and she seemed like a lovely lady. Becky told us she was having problems with previous landlords as they had issues with her. My mom, being the generous person she is, said,
"You can move in with us. We can help you out with your situation."
I don't know why I made her Southern.
Isn't she from the UK?
She's from the UK, yes.
This is a chance.
Moving on.
Oh, my
Moving
nose.
forward. Why are our eyes? My eyes are doing the same thing.
Ah!
Your eyes are just stopping working, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know why mine are also doing that. My mom often accommodates people temporarily while they get back on their feet. She helps them with CVs. What is that?
Like a resume. Sorry, I just got really sneezy. You know, like when you have to do a resume and a letter, the 1-page
The cover letter?
cover letter, yeah.
Okay, so she helps them with CVs, important basic needs like getting a national insurance number and registering with a bank. Around this time, my mom's old friend Josie returned to London from Colombia to stay closer to her grandchildren, so we also accommodated her. I felt happy that my mom wasn't alone, and she now had 3 women in the house to keep her company while I studied at university in Bedford, an hour from London by train. In 2020, Joanna brought her niece Natty, 25, to study English. My mom and I got to celebrate our birthdays. Yes, we are 2 days apart, and we always do something different every year. My mom traveled to Colombia where she stayed for 2 months. Then C19, let's be sarcastic here and call her Lily, arrived in London to ruin our scheduled meetups and trips. Oh boy. Who's C19?
Dude, come on.
C19?
Yeah.
The vid?
Wait, okay.
After the C19 happened, the C19 event.
Yes, and then
I see the
And you know what
40.
other event just happened? Hannah freaking donated $40.
LFG's in the chat also.
I love G.
Oh, she doesn't know.
Oh.
This is an
Oh, she
apology.
actually said something.
This is an apology to Riley for last night's craziness. I'll be relatively inactive for a bit. I can't promise anything on behalf of others, LOL.
Well, today you can't keep us here.
Can't keep us here.
It's only
Hannah,
keep
it's
us in
totally
person.
fine.
We'll see how
I
long
enjoyed
that
it.
lasts.
It's just that it wasn't you. It was just like the
Wasn't you,
little
it was
printer
me.
noise that got to me. But you're fine. You're fine, Hannah.
He was going.
See, it's funny. I love seeing your name show up, but when it's Purple Trader's name, it just brings like, it's like the printer noise happens and I'm like, and I look at your name and it's like, okay, it's an angel, it's fine. But then I see Purple Traders and I'm like, I don't know why, but I just get a very different reaction
Well,
from
it's
that
because
one.
you were forced to go onto the bowl based off of Purple Trader's
Oh.
donation.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is that what
Purple
the
Traders
root
You're
is?
having a trauma
started
response.
your villain arc. That's why.
Annie Bo, thank you for the $5. Just got Employee of the Month at my job and had to share the good news with everyone. Hope y'all's midweek is going swell. It is. Thank you.
Employee of the Month.
All right, let's get back to it.
So, the C-19 arrived in London to ruin our scheduled meetups and trips. My mom returned to London in March, just a day before lockdowns happened, and I had to return home from university because of Lily.
And Lily is C-19.
Lily is the vid. For 6 months, my mom and I had to tolerate drama between Becky versus Joanna, Becky versus Natty, and Becky versus Josie. The only people Becky didn't argue with were my mom and me. I spent more time in the garden than in the house because it was too noisy for my liking. And yes, you guessed it, I am autistic and prefer peace and quiet where no one is interrupting me.
Who diagnosed you? A preschool? Huh? Wait, people aren't going to get that. That's a reference to an earlier episode.
Who diagnosed you a preschool? Nice. What a sick burn. Let's go. Watch the episode before this.
Watch the episode before this. It just sounds like I'm dunking on OP.
The amount of drama that went down during lockdown deserves a separate story time. Fast forward to September 2020, I was excited to return to university physically. Natty was finally able to return to Colombia after the long halt on return flights. Another lockdown happened, and I returned to London in December, where I spent Christmas with my mom, Josie, Becky, and Joanna. On December 31st, my mom and I ended up with Lily visiting our home, so we were unwell for a couple weeks in early 2021. Joanna left our home and moved in with a friend of my mom's friend who had an extra bedroom and bathroom. The empty bedroom became Becky's, and I felt relieved that she now had some space for herself. Can we pause really quick because which one is Becky? I'm confused. Riley, help.
I don't remember.
Does the notion say?
I got
There's
really...
so many
I fixed the printer. I don't know.
I was having allergies, and I like the point when they were talking about who these people were. And all I know is
you were
that
having
the
allergies?
vid
Okay.
is Lily.
I'm going back to find Becky.
Okay,
I know who everyone else is, I think. Okay.
Becky.
Alfie, Joanna.
Becky,
Okay.
Becky.
Then we've got, okay, Becky, Joanna's friend.
And Joanna.
Joanna's friend, who was a tenant that her mom put up. And Joanna was good, but her friend Becky
Who's Joanna?
is annoying. Joanna's a tenant.
Of who?
Of OP's mom.
Okay, so OP is a landlord.
No. OP's mom would.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant.
rent
OP's
stuff.
mom is a landlord.
I think it was more like OP's mom likes to help people and
OP's
just
mom likes to
let her
help
stay. Was putting her up in a
OP's
spot.
mom likes to help her.
But now
Joanna's a tenant.
And Becky's her friend.
And Becky's Joanna's friend.
50.
Becky's 50 years old.
And is like not adapting to London very well.
Got it. I'm on the
now
same page.
The vid has hit the home, but now Becky is being annoying. A month later, Josie left for Spain to find a job, but that didn't last long because she had to return to Colombia for a family emergency. Becky cleaned her new bedroom and introduced a friend who painted her room and helped with some home renovations, including changing the light shade in the living room. During the summer holidays, Becky asked if I could help her clean a pub down the road, and I said yes. I woke up at 3:30 in the morning to clean the pub throughout the summer. Why? Why so early?
Why can't you? Maybe it's because it's like open during the day, and so you got to do it at night.
Why you got to clean it like that?
Just like close it.
Oh my God.
Just like close it for an hour or something.
In August, I applied for a part-time job at a dessert restaurant in East London. Becky then brought her eldest son, Danny, to London from Spain to get his life together. He was initially hesitant to come because he didn't want to leave his cat behind. From the moment he arrived, they both argued over the littlest things. He stayed in the UK for 2 weeks. During those 2 weeks, I observed their interactions and noticed something I hadn't before. Becky has 2 sons from 2 different fathers, and both have blocked her. Danny, who has an estranged relationship with his mother, prefers living with his father and stepmother. He has a stable job and is living independently. Elle, who is 16, is her younger son, lives with his father and stepmother in Spain and doesn't even remember Becky because his father has full custody.
So what's going on with Becky?
Yeah, Becky's got
2 kids just fully, live with their father.
What did Becky do?
Becky.
What have you done?
What have you done, Becky?
On my days off from my new job, Danny would talk to us about why his relationship with Becky was bad. He explained her drinking problem and how she treated both his father and his little brother's father. At first, my mom didn't believe him and thought he was just trying to gain sympathy, but I believed him. He later admitted that he is a manipulator, but also said that his mother is an even worse manipulator. So, the lesser of two evils, so to speak.
Yeah, they're both manipulators, but one's not good at it.
After Danny returned to Spain, my mom and I discussed everything that had happened. Becky had wanted Danny to work at the pub, but after he left, she asked if I wanted to return. I politely declined because cleaning the pub and then heading to the dessert restaurant was too much for me. In 2022, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial happened, and the whole world watched it on YouTube. I was on Johnny Depp's side, while Becky supported Amber Heard. Immediate cancellation. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, guys, you want to hear my hot take on that? They both
I'm gonna not give my take on that.
I want to hear your take on the Blake Lively and just in case.
You know way more than me, though.
Yeah,
You
I'm
should
also
have a take on it.
My take on that is I love Blake Lively,
My take is that
and anyone married to Ryan Reynolds can do no wrong. So
my take is that all of the lawyers are making everything much worse so that they can win a trial.
Interesting, everyone. You heard it here first.
hi, I love you, Blake Lively. Be my wife.
You heard it here first, guys.
We can share Ryan.
I also don't like picking sides until I know more facts.
Okay. I was on Johnny Depp's side while Becky supported Amber Heard. To be clear, I don't know why the hell we're even talking about this right now, but we're going to continue to move forward.
It's relevant information, apparently.
Becky claimed that Johnny Depp aged horribly after the 90s due to substances, which I disagreed with but said nothing. She also claimed that he mistreated his ex-girlfriend, supermodel Kate Moss. In the same breath, she called Kate a junkie and ugly and didn't understand why the 90s chose her as a model. She compared Kate Moss to senior supermodels like Tyra Banks, Claudia Schiffer, Naomi Campbell. Why are we talking about these people? I carefully explained why Kate was chosen to represent beauty standards in the 90s. It was the female hero chic look. Because Kate is naturally petite and has childlike features, she fit the standard of natural beauty at the time. A family friend who was like a little sister to my mom gifted us a 4-month-old kitten whom we named Chanel. I finally quit my job after a year of working there. Then I graduated from university.
What? That wasn't relevant. That wasn't right. Opie's like, yeah, and she had differing opinions about the trial, so that's Becky for you. Okay, guys, for anyone who's like, what's going on right now? Little TLDR. It seemed, and this is for me to make sure that I'm understanding this, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. So we've got Opie's mom, who's letting Becky stay in one of her, her flats. And Becky has a couple sons who don't really talk to her at all, and she's estranged from them because she had a drinking problem. And now we're finding out that Becky is causing more problems with OP and also has different opinions than OP on a trial.
This is all being set up to lead to a failed marriage / a breakup that I don't think Becky can deal with. So I think what OP is doing is setting the stage for all of Becky. We're getting the full scoop on Becky and also finding out that there was a cat that was adopted and they named it Chanel.
Really important.
Maybe that'll come into play later.
It better.
Seems just a lot of info going on here.
Chekhov's Chanel.
Yes, that was a good one.
Okay, Riley didn't think so. Riley was anti my joke.
Riley laughed.
But it was a fake laugh.
I did laugh.
Oh, Riley.
All right, let's get back to this.
No, wait. All right, let's get back to it.
So, my mom and I love traveling, so after my graduation, we went to Newcastle to visit my brother. Then we traveled to Ireland for the first time and had a blast touring Dublin. When we returned to London, I decided to pursue a master's at the same university. I lasted a year, but ultimately decided not to graduate because I had already gained the push and knowledge I needed as an actress. Becky often brought a friend, Alfie, for lunch with us every weekend. One weekend, he made a harmless joke and Becky went nuclear on him. He was completely shocked with a look on his face like, what happened? What did I say that was so offensive?
He probably made a joke about Amber Heard or something.
Yeah, he was probably like, Amber Heard.
Who's heard of her? And then Becky was like,
he was like, Kate Moss was the epitome of beauty in the 1990s. Becky goes, ooh.
And then she just like a
and she casts fireball.
People are saying whiteboard.
Where is the whiteboard?
It's not even here. It's outside.
It's not here.
Becky went out to the shops to get some stuff, and Alfie and my mom were talking. In that conversation, Alfie mentioned that he and Becky, now both 50-year-old adults, were waiting to obtain residency to remain in the UK. My mom warned him about the consequences of being with her as a partner. She said, "Remember how she exploded on you over a harmless joke?" He replied, "Yeah." She then said, "This is how she is with other people, so if you decide to be in a relationship, don't let her buy or drink wine, and please do not let her disrespect you."
Okay, so now we have this friend that Becky's already gotten super mad at.
Yeah, trying
Thinking
to get
about
a green
dating
card.
her?
Trying to get a green card marriage type situation going on. Visa marriage. That's what we're doing.
Doesn't seem like a good idea.
I agree. With that, the conversation stayed with him. Now, Becky would normally communicate with a friend of hers, an Englishman we will call James, 45, through her phone. He will become very important later.
Just like Chanel.
Which every single part of this better become important later, or I swear
It all
to
better
God.
come together. What's a show that has a bunch of random parts and then it all comes together?
Just say it's all
Arrested
coming
Development.
together.
What?
Arrested Development.
I haven't seen that. Oh, or Crazy Stupid Love.
Or, I mean, pretty much every...
Or Interstellar.
Pretty
That's
much
true.
every sitcom with an ABC plot.
And there you go.
Interstellar is not a sitcom. It's a masterpiece.
Interstellar is mid.
Bruh.
I just watched it. It was great.
Dude, you just watched it for the first time?
Yeah, this year.
Oh, what I would give for that.
It was great.
My
Sorry.
second born.
I was
Alright.
just trying to trigger Riley. Interstellar's really good.
I knew you didn't feel that way.
I knew you were a liar.
I knew
was-
you were lying.
I was
Eliana
baiting-
Bain says Becky isn't a citizen. That's what I thought. So how are they trying to do a green card marriage?
Is Becky not? No,
New
because
country.
Becky's Josie's friend.
Colombia.
Maybe Alfie's not? Dude, this story is... I'm sorry. I apologize.
How? I feel like we're already halfway through.
We are like a third of
We're
the
in
way
it.
through.
We're in it, man. It's gotta come together, guys.
James will become very important later. Additionally, there was also Sam, 46, a friend of my mom who I've known since I was a child. He was a former tenant who stayed in our home back in the 90s, but later returned to Colombia. Okay, eventually he ended up living in the US, got married, had 3 children, and divorced just last year. I found it odd that his former wife and children never visited us in the UK. I had the opportunity to meet his ex-wife, and I found her very lovely, but their divorce is another story. My mom and I have been Christians for as long as I can remember, just not religious. Becky claimed to be Christian, but her actions screamed otherwise. She loved wine, luxurious trips, and fancy dinners.
And everyone knows you can't be Christian and love wine, luxurious dinners, or what was it?
Yeah.
Fancy trips?
What are we doing? Straight to hell. What are we doing?
That's like the worst. Those are the worst examples of why she can't be Christian. She loved wine? Dude, that's like communion, man.
Just hold out. We're holding out. We're holding out hope that this story is going to go somewhere soon. Sam is a preacher of the gospel and preaches in a Spanish-speaking church where the pastor is a very good friend of my mom. Yes, my mom is friends with a lot of pastors. LOL.
Flex, I guess.
What was that? Ooh, I'm getting upset. Becky asked Sam to pray for her 2 sons, Danny and Elle, and expected an actual miracle from God. Danny has been going to therapy for his depression and anxiety, and is trying to rebuild his relationship with Becky. However, regarding Elle, there has not been any progress on whether she gets the right to have a moment to get to know her son. After Sam returned to the US, Becky continued to communicate with him nearly every day. Then, one day, my mom and I were in the living room talking when Becky came home from work and claimed that Sam was in love with her and had said some inappropriate things to her on the phone. My mom and I were taken aback by these claims. My mom was confused because Sam was in the middle of his divorce, and I remembered what Danny had said a year prior, so I was on high alert about her accusations.
Okay, so now
What?
we have, basically what just happened is Becky is Christian, supposedly, according to OP, and they have a mutual friend, Sam, who lives in the US, but who is a pastor. And Becky had been going to Sam for advice and help and prayers for her 2 sons that she's estranged from. But now Becky is claiming that Sam is being inappropriate towards her. And OP's like, I don't buy that. And
But-
so that's where we're at.
I don't understand the logic of, well, he's in the middle of a divorce. There's no way he could be sending inappropriate texts to other women.
That's the thing. None of OP's...
That doesn't make any sense.
None of OP's like, oh, this doesn't make sense because of this. None of them make sense.
We got
It's
a
like
cat.
she can't be Christian because she drinks wine. That doesn't make sense. He's in a divorce, so he can't possibly be flirting with her. I don't buy it.
Yeah. Anyways,
OP, something's off here.
Let's just power through. The next day, since Becky worked all day, I had a talk with my mom about the seriousness of what Becky had claimed about Sam. My mom was going to scold Sam, but I halted her and reminded her of the consequences of false accusations, like what Amber Heard did to Johnny Depp.
And there we have it.
Full circle moment.
There we have it. We needed the Amber Heard Johnny
There we
Depp
go.
conversation to get to here, because otherwise this simile wouldn't work.
Oh man, what's going on? Oh, I'm sorry, Riley. I got distracted. Okay, we did it. Poor old Sam was unaware that he was being accused of trying to seduce Becky. One day, my mom decided to give him a call. The first time, she asked him about his relationship with Becky and told him what Becky had said. He simply replied, "My sister. To be honest with you, I don't have time to be distracted, as I have a lot on my plate."
My sister.
My sister.
To be honest with you.
My sister.
It's like, I don't really care if Becky's making false accusations because it doesn't affect me. I'm in the U.S.
I got too much going on right now to care about that. He then changed the subject. A month later, Sam's divorce proceedings came to an end, and he was finally able to breathe. He gave my mom a call, and they had a long talk. She listened to him carefully. One night, Becky came back from work, and my mom carefully told her about what Sam had said, which was a big mistake. But what did Sam say?
Yeah. Do we have proof that Sam did it or not?
Why are you doing this to us, OP?
Just tell me.
Tell us what he said. Becky immediately got up, went outside the house, and called Sam to argue with him. I then booked my mom flights to Spain so she could spend time with our family, my aunts and cousins. I even bought cheap train tickets so she could visit the grandkids in Newcastle. Where are we going?
Where is the narrative storyline of the story?
Obviously, like, Amber Heard.
Sam in the U.S. was being accused.
And also, we had a lovely trip to Newcastle.
Yes, and I sent my family to Spain.
Eliana Bain
Stop
says
it.
He dodged the question for sure. That is true. Sam did not answer that question. He just said, I don't have time for this. So maybe, I don't know if OP is a reliable narrator here.
Well, maybe she just doesn't know what Sam said.
Maybe she's just, like, ever since Becky told her about her opinions on the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing, she was like, I don't trust this lady.
It was the beginning of the end. So I realized that Becky started coming home less. So I would sleep on the floor in the living room with Chanel to keep me company while watching some K-dramas on Netflix. Why did you start doing that? Because Becky came home less. What does that have to do with your proclivity of
Becky
K-pop watching?
Loves BTS.
What's going on? What is going on? I'm sorry.
Slightly Tough says this has to be AI. AI would have done a better job.
Yeah, this AI would have had a
person.
narrative
This is a person.
plot.
Okay, keep going.
The weekends continued as usual with Alfie coming over. However, I noticed that whenever my mom was out of the country or out of London, Becky would argue with her English friend James on the phone. Chanel and I would overhear the drama unfolding.
Your cat would overhear the would overhear the drama unfolding.
Say, Chanel,
She's like, meow.
isn't it crazy what they're talking about? I know. I agree, Chanel. Let's watch Korean dramas. My cat is very eloquent, but she only speaks Korean. Becky later let me know that she was going to have a dinner date with James and that she wouldn't come home late. I enjoyed watching anime and K-dramas that night. When I felt sleepy, I turned off the TV and asked Alexa to play some classical music while I slept with my cat by my side. Does this person sleep on the couch in the living room? Is that why? What's going on? What is happening?
Eliana Bain says OP is so invested in Becky's life.
This is just okay. Becky and James came home around 4 a.m.
That's late. Becky said she wouldn't come home late.
Yeah.
You freaking liar.
That's late.
This is the type of story we need popcorn for.
Truly. I still have kernels in my teeth, though, so I will not be.
You still have kernels in your
My
teeth?
gums
It's
hold
called,
on to popcorn kernels
flossing.
like nothing you've ever seen.
When did you eat popcorn?
Like 2 days ago. I still got kernels up in my gums. They work their way out. It's unbelievable. My life is a prison. Becky and James came home around 4 a.m., which woke me up. Chanel really liked James, which was sweet. I went downstairs to sleep in my mom's room while Becky went to her bedroom. Around 7 a.m., I took a quick shower, and Becky told me that James had invited us to eat at a bistro restaurant near the house. James is actually a nice guy, a total gentleman. He has problems of his own regarding his son, who was falsely accused by a crazy girl who's obsessed with him. Because he was dating another girl who wasn't her, she went absolutely nuclear on him. I don't know what happened to him lately, but I just hope his name got cleared.
This whole story is just about people getting accused of things and OP being like,
How dare they? False accusations!
So far, most of this story is OP not telling us what things are happening that we want to know about. Apparently, James, the Englishman, was jealous of Alfie and Becky's friendship. This all happened in December 2023. Becky and Alfie traveled to Paris for a week, and after they returned to London, Becky announced that she and Alfie were official.
it's getting juicy now.
Here we
guys.
go. Now we've got it.
We didn't need anything before that.
The story has started.
The story started.
100 pages
Lock in, everyone.
Let's go. I was really confused because just a week prior, she had introduced James as her boyfriend
Ooh.
in Spanish on the phone to her
Novio.
parents. Ooh.
Wait, we
the
got okay, but
novio.
Alfie and her are official, but she and James are together.
James is the green card and Alfie is
the
the
true
true love. So I asked her alone, what happened to you and James? Are you no longer friends anymore? She claimed they were no longer friends and that she was going to live with her husband in Colombia.
But this was like a week later.
My God. Also, you now husband? Officially my husband?
That
What's
was quick.
going on?
That was quick.
My mom and I knew that this supposed relationship wasn't going to last long, even though they still visited us on weekends as usual. After Becky took the last remaining things from her bedroom, the room became empty. My mom and I cleaned there where we could. Christmas Eve came, and we thought Becky and Alfie would spend it with us. To our surprise, they had booked tickets to Spain to spend Christmas there. Joanna came to visit us with two friends, one of whom, Nia, had been living with my mom's friend. Since there was no space there, she had been sleeping on the living room couch. With the now empty bedroom, my mom and I decided to invite Nia to come live with us.
Who's Nia?
Why are you just letting people just come in and out of here like a rotating?
What
like,
is this?
What's going on?
Do you own a hostel?
I think so.
Is your cat and yourself a hostel owner?
Essentially, it's Chanel's hostel.
It's a lot. Yeah. If you guys ever go to London, you better call up OP because she's got a hostel waiting for you.
Yeah, and she loves K-dramas.
But she's going to write a long Reddit story about you.
And a lot of it's going to be real
Irrelevant.
important information. We invited Nia to come live with us. Nia was going through a rough patch and drowning in debt, so out of the goodness of my mom's heart, we let her stay in our house for free until she could clear all of her credit card debt. Well, dang, you guys are
Pretty nice.
I don't know if that's like a sweetie pie angel move or just like really an irresponsible thing to do.
Well, I think that OP and her mom love inviting people who just have like crazy stuff going on in their lives. Maybe not so much so that they can help them, but just so that they have really good drama to tell.
I guess so.
Oh, they're
That could be.
tea addicts.
Yeah.
Like all of you.
Yeah.
Especially you, Sophia Kellon. They're all tea addicts.
Addicted to the tea. We welcomed 2024 and Nia moved in. She has been really helpful so far. In March, I was working a night shift when my mom told me something that did not surprise me at all. Becky was returning to live with us again. I had expected it.
I knew this day would come.
I was expecting you, Becky. All
Opie
according to
always
my
spins
master
around
plan.
In a chair in the dark when Becky shows up at 4 a.m. I thought you weren't going to be late, Becky.
It's you again, I see.
Becky.
Sorry. Don't look at me like that, okay? Don't look at me like that. Don't do that. Okay, stop. Don't do that. No, I'll do it again. I'll be
going.
good.
Yeah, let's go.
I'll be good. Becky visited my mom alone and was distressed, claiming that Alfie had hit and mistreated her, screaming, "Look what he did to me. He hit me." My mom was in disbelief that Alfie would do such a thing. I then reminded her of the accusations Becky had made against Sam and what Danny had said about her. I suggested my mom give Alfie a call so he could tell his side of the story. Becky traveled to Colombia to visit her parents. While she was gone, Alfie came to visit us and told his side of the story. He explained that he would pick her up after work, and one night she got really pissed off that he hadn't answered her calls while he was working. She started complaining and arguing, then began hitting him multiple times while the car was still moving.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I'm just going to skip that part. There's like it feels like a real Chris Brown, Rihanna type situation. On a Wednesday morning, Alfie decided to bring all of Becky's belongings back to our house. After Becky returned to London, she was absolutely livid with Alfie for bringing all of her stuff back. What she did next was next level diabolical. She knew that Alfie made a business arrangement with a lady called Nora to marry her.
What's going on?
What are we doing? What's going on?
Stop it. Get these people out of your life.
Is this guy a professional marrying you for citizenship?
How many citizenships
Guy?
can he have?
What's going on?
Why are you letting Becky stay with you? Get her out.
Remove her. Stop inviting this insanity into your life. Stop it. Get some help. So he would pay her every month in order to get UK residency after completing his duty as a man with a visa. However, that all changed because Becky started to communicate with Nora, making up stories about Alfie. She told her that she and Alfie had been dating for 7 years, and she even had an engagement ring as proof. Remember when she claimed to be Christian? Well, I think the opposite. She is not a Christian who drinks booze, smokes, and makes up lies about someone regardless of whether it ruins their reputation and life. She also nearly cost him his job. The day she came to our home after the incident, she went to the police station to file charges against Alfie, but dropped the charges a day later. However, the damage was already done because the police came to his workplace to arrest him due to Becky's claims. And I think I need to add a little context to the situation I skipped over. Like, because they were in a moving car and she started like getting physical with him while he was driving, he like, while maneuvering, like tried to like, I guess, help her not slam her head on anything. And she still ended up slamming something because she was assaulting him while he was driving a car. And then she wanted to be like, it was him. He did me. Anyway, after they reviewed the case and saw that Becky dropped the charges, they apologized to him for what they put him through. Now that Becky had returned, the atmosphere wasn't the same. Nia really disliked Becky because she had the opportunity to meet Alfie and knew that he was a wonderful, hardworking man. Remember Josie, who was the one who introduced Becky?
Josie, why did you do this? Josie, I hate you.
Josie, why?
I hate you, Josie.
Well,
Count your days.
Josie returned to London after being away for over a year, met Alfie, and even she thought he was a wonderful person. She advised him to get a Spanish visa, saying that getting a job there would be ideal for him. Alfie unfortunately lost his opportunity to stay in the UK permanently because, in a fit of rage, Nora called HMRC, His Majesty's Revenue and Customs, to annul Alfie's visa after being poisoned by Becky's lie. But this was already a business arrangement.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It wasn't ever like, there was no love. He was paying her. That was already like a risky situation.
Yeah. Can't Nora be charged for that? Isn't it illegal to do that? To be like the fake bride or fake husband of someone?
Yeah. I mean, he could do the same thing and be like, well, she was paying me.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. It's strange. Alfie had come over to visit us in secret, but Becky somehow always knew when he was visiting, even if he never entered the house. One day she came home wasted and told my mom that she forbade her from letting Alfie visit us. She didn't ask, she demanded, as if she was our landlord or our boss. Becky left for church, and after I came back from the morning sermon at a local church near me, my mom, Nia, Josie, and I were talking. Nia said that Becky had no authority to say who we could invite into our home, which is correct. I decided to put a passcode on my mom's phone in case Becky tried to look through it and see who my mom had been communicating with.
Okay, really quick, because there's definitely a lot more. Why are you letting Becky continue to stay there if you clearly all have a problem with her?
Yes.
And she is trying to enforce rules that she doesn't have any power to enforce and is also just making so many problems.
Get her out of your house.
Remove her. Get her out. And also this Alfie guy is like someone who used to rent from them 20 plus years ago.
Yeah, like also, yeah, why are you even inviting him over?
You're
like,
strange.
He's not your friend.
Is he? Maybe he is. I don't know. These people are strange.
Yeah.
This is strange.
This is strange.
Putting it out there. I explained that Becky might check her phone, and if she saw Alfie's name, she might do something really stupid. A few days later, Alfie called my mom around 1 or 2 p.m. because she wanted to give him some dessert to take home. He came around 4 or 5, and I stood by the door to make sure Becky didn't appear out of nowhere. After he left, I quickly asked my mom to lend me her phone and wiped all traces of his incoming and outgoing calls and text messages. Why? What are we doing?
If you need to wipe all like proof that Alfie came over to prevent Becky from going AWOL, get Becky out of there.
Why are we doing this? And also, look at this. Hey, no, put that back up there. Eddie. You're the GOAT. Eddie's celebrating 1 year with OK Storytime.
You started today.
Thank you for the endless support, love, and inspiration. Grateful for an amazing community. Each one of you rock.
Guys,
And you rock, Eddie.
I need all the freaking hearts in the chat right now. None of this, half of this, any of this probably wouldn't be possible without this guy. For real. You see all the news things that we've done? It was him. That was him.
Eddie for president of the world.
Eddie for president of the world.
Eddie for king of the moon. Eddie,
you're getting Mars.
Eddie for king of Mars. We're giving you all the royal titles of space. Okay.
But
we love you,
again,
Eddie.
a TLDR, just to keep track of everything that's going on in the story.
Yeah, let me see how fast you can hit that TLDR.
Opie's mom let their friend Becky stay in their house. Becky started causing problems, and Opie doesn't really like her. Becky started dating this guy named James?
Yes.
Englishman.
Englishman James.
She started dating this other guy, Alfie, and James was like, what the heck? I thought we were dating. And then Alfie starts seeing this other girl, Nora, for a green card or something. And then Becky's like, what the heck? And so she starts telling Nora all these lies. And then Nora gets Alfie in trouble with the law. And now Becky's telling OP and her mom, like, you can't have Alfie come over here because I hate him. And OP and her mom are like, no, Alfie's our bestie. We're having him come over to bring dessert. And there we are.
Yeah. Yes. Caught up. Let's continue. That night, Becky came home from work in a foul mood and was also wasted. She had the nerve to ask my mom for her phone and quickly realized there was now a passcode. My mom told her to ask me to unlock it. So your
Why
mom...
are you giving her your phone?
Wait, so you put a passcode on your mom's phone, but your mom doesn't know the passcode either? What's going on? What is happening?
Also,
Becky has to go.
Why did your mom just give Becky her phone?
Because she's a sweetie.
She's like, oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
You can stay in my house for however long you want.
You know what? That's why I gave her the southern accent, because she's just a sweet
just a
little
little
southern
sweetie.
thing. She said, of course, sweetie, you can have
Of
my phone here.
course.
I know you need it for nefarious activities, but I'm going to give it to
Take
you.
it. Eliana
Take
says,
it.
I feel like OP is not a good judge of character. I feel like OP and her mom are terrible judges of
OP
character.
did say, I believe that they have the autism in the beginning of the story, which kind of informs a lot of this in my head, but also, man, it took 100 pages to get into the real story.
Yeah. Because the story, I'm engaged now.
We did have some stuff, like we needed to know who Chanel was, the cat.
We had to.
Because there was some
And the
time
Amber
spent with
Heard
Chanel.
thing was relevant for maybe a sentence. So
Yes,
we
it
needed
did come
that.
back in some way, shape, or form. Okay, let's continue. Becky came to my bedroom and asked me to unlock the phone. I quietly did so and handed it back to her, preparing for whatever unwanted questions she might throw at me, such as, where's the history of the phone calls and text messages between my mom and Alfie? I was ready to lie, but the moment felt excruciatingly long. Girl, why did you unlock the phone? Why?
Why are we giving Becky the phone? Why is the question like, oh, what do you need it for?
Becky
Why are
is
you asking any
all-powerful.
questions?
Why-
Becky's just like, give me the phone. Don't
Why?
invite Alfie anywhere. This is my house.
Is she a
Becky's not the
is she
queen
a
of the
wizard?
flat, man.
Does she have a crown?
I think so.
Are we scared of Becky?
Becky's got something on these people.
I pretended to have music playing in my headphones while listening in on whatever drama she was about to cause. She sent multiple long texts. My mom was upstairs in the living room, worried that Becky would see the call and message history. I was worried she would ask where they had gone. After she finished sending her last message to Alfie, she handed my mom's phone and went back upstairs. She sent these messages on your mom's phone to
She's
Alfie?
texting Alfie on your mom's phone, and you just let that happen?
I'm upset.
Something's wrong.
What's going on?
Something's wrong here.
Oh my God, they're jellyfish people. Where are
they're
your
like,
spines?
I guess so.
You are invertebrates.
There you go.
And Becky isn't taking advantage of it.
And Becky's like, yeah, these people are going to let me do whatever
Oh my
I
God.
want.
Do not let her stay in your home. My God. I immediately opened the phone and read her insane texts. They were filled with nothing but unhinged insults and lies, telling Alfie to go away, never to harass my mom again, and that she never wanted to see him ever again. Alfie had to block my mom's number for a bit because of Becky.
No, he didn't. You guys just needed to not give Becky your mom's phone, you idiots.
Folks, here's how we're going to view this story from now on. This story is a blueprint on what not to do ever.
Ever.
How not to be in a moment of strife or confrontation.
I'm sorry. This is just insane. for Opie to be like, yeah, he had to block my mom's number because it got so bad. Becky was texting him all the time. What?
You put the password on the phone.
There's a password.
So Becky couldn't use the phone.
And then you let her use the phone.
All she had to do was ask you to unlock it, and that's what y'all did.
This is like locking the front door when a serial unaliver is coming knocking, and they're like, can you let me in so I can unalive you? And you're like, well, I guess so.
I guess if you're going to be polite.
I guess you can come in.
That was a polite way to ask.
Thanks for asking. Consent.
Oh my God. I texted Alfie from my phone to ask if he was okay. He replied that he was, sending me a nervous dog gif. Great. I let him know my mom would call him the next day from my phone. After Becky fell asleep, my mom and I had a long talk about what happened. After Becky fell asleep, you're like tiptoeing around in the dark.
We mustn't let Becky know, or she'll get mad at us.
This is your home. This is your home.
Is Becky even paying?
Yeah, I think Becky's paying. I don't
Okay,
think
that's
Nia
something.
was paying.
Okay.
And then there's Nora, who was the green card affiliate, who's now no longer in the story.
Doesn't exist.
That Becky lied to. Oh my God. The next day, my mom called Alfie on my phone because her own phone was glitching so badly that it wouldn't unlock. Moving forward from there, Alfie told us everything Becky had said to him. It turns out Becky had bought multiple SIM cards to call and harass Alfie, begging him to take her back while also insulting him. This woman is unhinged. Her sons tried to tell you, y'all didn't listen.
Well, it seems like they did listen.
No,
They just don't do anything about it.
I guess.
They're like, Becky's the worst.
So we let her stay for 5 more years.
Crazy. Crazy.
Cheryl says, I think OP and her 80-plus mother have Stockholm Syndrome.
Could be. Could be. Oh yeah, her mom was like 81.
Mom's 81.
Dang. Okay, that makes a little more sense too. So he had to keep blocking her. 2 months later, my mom and I booked flights to Barcelona and Madrid to see family and attend my 3 cousins' dance performances. 3 weeks before our trip, Becky told my mom that she had found a place to stay that her boss offered her. Thank God. She also admitted that she knew Alfie still communicated with us and still visited when she wasn't around, which made her extremely uncomfortable. Shut up.
Block her. Block her.
Who cares? The last time we saw Becky was the day we traveled to Spain. With her gone, Alfie was finally able to visit us without fear of bumping into her. The poor guy was so scared of her, he would jump in utter fear whenever I opened the door quickly or popped out of nowhere. Alfie finally changed his number, which he should have done before, but he had endured all the cyber abuse and harassment from Becky. Before he changed his number, Nora, the green card lady, sent him a text confessing everything Becky had said to her. She sent him screenshots of Becky's lies and voicemails. Nora admitted she had to block Becky because she was acting like a victim. She apologized to Alfie for believing Becky's lies, which led her to annul his visa and cost him his UK residency. However, the apology came too late. The damage was already done. Becky also sent Alfie an apology message, but in the same breath said she was glad he was getting kicked out of the country. After changing his number, he was finally able to sleep peacefully. He sold his car and some of the belongings he had worked hard for during his years in the UK. His landlord allowed him to stay in his flat for free while he figured out his next steps, whether to reapply for a visa or not. Josie had been a great help assisting him with a work visa application in Tenerife. Last week, Alfie told us that Becky had reappeared in front of his building's main entrance lobby, trying to see if he was still in the country. He hid on the other side of the road, waiting for her to leave. Once she was gone, he carefully returned to his flat.
Someone needs to check Becky, dude. Someone needs to check this. Why are we so scared of Becky?
What does Becky have on you?
She's just like a 6'7" brick
6'7".
brick
She's
crap
like,
house.
She's like super
She's
yoked.
just jacked.
Yeah.
She's like LeBron James levels of
I
fit.
don't want Alfie coming here. And they're like, okay, Becky.
Okay, Becky. Becky's just walking around ripping phone books in half.
Like, I don't want Alfie coming around here anymore. Give me your phone. And they're like, all right, Becky.
She roars like a dinosaur, like a T-Rex.
Your mom.
God. Alfie is now planning to go back to Colombia as soon as possible to take care of some important matters in his lovely hometown of Pereira. I totally recommend people visit there because it has a great places to see. Yesterday, my mom gave him a call and told us that Becky had called Alfie's mother, claiming she had forgotten about Alfie and had moved on, which I find hard to believe.
That is so funny to call your like ex's mom and be like, I've completely forgotten about your son and I've moved on. That's why I'm calling you today, because I've completely moved on.
Yeah, crazy. insanity. During one of our conversations, I told Alfie, Josie, Nia, and my mom that Becky is a self-absorbed person, someone who refuses to accept that she lost or that she was wrong. Luckily, everyone agreed, which of course they should. The only person who would disagree with that would be Becky. The reason why Becky wanted to marry Alfie was that Alfie has 6 flats in Colombia that he bought and is currently renting out to people. She thought that in case of a divorce, she could claim that she was entitled to 3 of the flats for herself. What she didn't know is that Alfie moved in the shadows years ago after his first divorce from his ex-wife, the mother of his 2 sons, and decided to put his mother's name on all of the flats. Nice. Way to expose him. But nice. I know this is really long, but it was worth it because holy crap, this was the first time that we had an absolute narcissist in our midst. Today
Was it worth it?
Huh?
Was it worth it?
Was it worth it?
At the end of the day, OP, was it worth it?
Was it worth it to... I think you're right. When we're circling back to why do they do this, they are addicted to the tea. Especially because of this right here. It was worth it because this was the first time we had an absolute narcissist in our midst. It was
like
the first time.
She's such a train wreck.
We were able to
keep her
observe.
around.
Yeah. It was so good, but so bad.
I
That's
couldn't look away.
That's why they're giving her the phone. That's why they're unlocking
They're
the
like,
phone,
"Do it.
giving her the password.
Do it, Becky. What are you gonna do, Becky?
Yeah. Are you gonna do? Takes out notepad, like is ready to like transcribe Sigmund Freud notes. Today is Sunday. And we are going to invite Alfie to come over to have lunch with us if he's free, that is. I hope to get more updates on Becky. If you don't know this, we Latinas love gossip, and we are very, very, very nosy. So if a neighbor is arguing with someone outside at night, you best believe we will have the lights off watching the drama unfold. LOL. Update. Hi all. I hope you are all fine and dandy. I never expected this to blow up as it did, but for those who took the time to read, thank you. So as I told you guys before, Alfie came over yesterday for lunch dinner since it was Sunday and gave us an update on what Becky did. What he told us was kind of satisfying. Becky decided to give Alfie's mother a call, who is in Colombia, and told her that she and Nora, apparently they have both become besties, have already moved on and forgotten all about Alfie. Alfie's mother had enough of listening to her nonsense and straight up blocked Becky, which you should do that. I actually showed him the story and how it is blowing up. He agreed with the comments that Becky needs to be taken into a psychiatric ward to get evaluated. But unfortunately, you know how a narcissist thinks. They believe they are normal and that nothing is wrong with them. Alfie is going back to Colombia soon, but he knows very well that Becky will book a flight to find him. So he will be pressing charges after her if she looks for him in Colombia. You don't want peace. You want problems always.
You want Becky to stay in your life so that you can keep going on Reddit and saying, oh my goodness, have I got a story to tell you?
Do me and Chanel have a story for you?
Me and Chanel, I got quite a tale to tell.
I haven't even told you half of the insane things that she's done to poor old Alfie. It was so bad that she literally threatened him with a poke stabby to make sure he never left the house. He still keeps in touch with Becky's brother and sister-in-law, who have been no contact with Becky for years now because they had enough of her terrible behavior. They told him that Becky claimed he was the only man who was being difficult with her, but what they revealed next about Becky's previous 2 relationships was shocking. I guarantee you it's not shocking to me.
I think it's going to be pretty run-of-the-mill for Becky.
The only thing that would be shocking is that if they were perfect in every way and that she used to be a wonderful person.
It's shocking. Becky had really great relationships up until Alfie.
It turns out Becky mistreated Oscar, the father of Danny, and Danny was the first to witness everything his mother did to his father. She claimed the reason they divorced was that Oscar was a gambler, but her worst behavior was what she did to AJ, the father of Elle. It was just awful, which, time out, because, girl...
You're still not explaining what people are doing.
She's like, it's just awful.
She was awful to Oscar. Danny saw it all. Anyways, what happened to Elle was worse. What do you mean it was worse? What happened?
I think we actually do find that out.
She broke so many things whenever she had a heated argument with AJ. She even broke his car door.
Okay, I feel like Becca is actually really strong.
Yeah, she
I feel like she's really strong.
Rips the car door off.
She's like,
throws it like a mile away, like it just like disappears into the sky like Team Rocket. Okay.
We're blasting off.
She then claimed the reason that their relationship ended was that Alicia, AJ's current wife, cursed Becky through witchcraft. By the way, I'll never curse you with witchcraft. All you have to do is listen to full episodes with stories like this. And to do so...
Hopefully not just like this.
Yeah, I mean, not like this. Better than this. All you got to do is go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast from. Search OK Storytime, and there you can listen to the episodes that have a lot less randomness and more
Plot.
succinctness.
But we got there.
But every once in a while we get a story like this.
Just a couple times.
But it's fun. We've had fun.
We've had fun.
We've definitely had fun.
We've
Have
had
we not had
laughs.
fun, chat?
We've had laughs.
Have we been having fun, chat?
And Becky's finally out. She doesn't live there anymore. The thing is that my final thoughts on this is that OP and her mom never actually kicked Becky out. She left on her own.
This is
which
true.
is shocking.
And absurd. You can kick this person out of your house. You can get rid of this person.
Yeah.
They are not your mom. They're not your parents. They are not an authority figure.
No.
They're a friend
You don't
of
have
someone
to give
who
them your
you
phone.
let live there. Like literally, they are a friend of a friend.
A friend of a friend. You don't even really know them.
You are not obligated in any way. But as we've learned, they just want to sip the tea. They said, ooh, but we had to because it was the first time we could study a narcissist within our midst. Ooh.
Taking notes. But let's finish.
Yes, let's. I wish this was made up, but honest to God, she made my mom, Nia, Josie, Joanna, Natty, and me believe that Alicia was the cause of Becky's misfortune through witchcraft and blamed Alicia for being responsible for AJ gaining full custody of Elle. I'm going to break this to you as gently as possible. Becky didn't make y'all do that. Y'all believed Becky, and that was foolish.
That's on you. At a certain point, you can't blame Becky for all your problems, you know?
Stop letting Becky's into your life.
Okay?
Becky hasn't lived with us for the past 5 months now, so the only source of information is from Alfie, and his source of info is from Becky's sister-in-law and brother. I know it wasn't the most exciting update, but this is all I have for now. And it's over.
That's the end of that story.
It's over, folks.
There we go.
That's it.
Oh, boo this man.
Boo.
Boo, boo, boo.
Boo, boo.
Boo.
Yeah, sometimes, I don't know. What are your opinions on witchcraft? Do you think it's real? I think it's real. I think it can be real.
I have no comment.
I don't want to invite it into my life.
I don't wish to offend or not offend, so I shan't say.
I've heard some.
I think it's real.
Yeah, I think some real nasty people can put some real. Keon also thinks it's real.
No, I don't think I know.
Keon also knows
All
it's
I
real.
will say is that I am agnostic.
I think some very spooky people who get up to no good can do some pretty spooky bad things to you. But also the flip side of that, they can also do good things. But I think
Glue?
it's spooky.
Oh, voodoo.
There's brujidia.
But that is the end of that story.
And the end of this episode.
And the end of this episode.
So, if you love us, make sure you subscribe.
We love you, and see you tomorrow.